Very dark. So what happens? There we go. A little bit better. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the stream. I hope everybody is well and that you've had a good couple of weeks off. Obviously not off of work and stuff, but off of this, I guess. For which I apologise again. It's just one of those things. It's been a lot of stuff going on, what with shows at work, and doesn't seem like it's going to end until well into the summer at the moment. Dear, oh dear. Yeah. So just been busy and stuff like that. Not had much chance to watch an awful lot of movies, though I have been watching a few sort of disaster movies. Let me just see if I can grab them. Because I've actually found myself doing a little bit of writing lately, which was quite nice to do. And I'm probably most of the way through it. Hopefully, I'll get a bit of a chance to finish it off tomorrow and maybe get some recording done. But I was watching. Where is it? There we go. I mentioned it the other time that we were on, but this, The Swarm. And somebody sort of said, "Oh, review," and I kind of went, we'll see, because it's definitely not one of those movies that gets better. We watch it. It's pretty fucking terrible. I remember watching this donkeys years ago, a very long time ago, and it was. It's always one that's sort of stuck in my head somewhat, and I got no idea why. Looking at it at this point, but it's all a bit kind of. There's so much wrong with this movie. There's so much wrong with it. It's awful. It is truly awful. You got Michael Caine doing his thing. Because my brother Gary, he decided. He said he absolutely hated Michael Caine's character, and he said the guy's just a complete bastard. Which I don't think is the case really necessarily myself. I don't think he's a bastard. It's just that the character's written very, very two-dimensionally in some respects. Both sort of antagonists and protagonists are kind of very are pretty two-dimensional. It's not very good. And as I was looking around, because I wanted to sort of reference other disaster movies at the time, because the 70s was one of those big times in disaster movies and all that kind of stuff. So I got the Cassandra Crossing, which I have not seen, I don't think, but it does ring a bit of a bell. Basically about a disease breaks out on a train, and then some people try to run it off a cliff to get rid of the infected, all that kind of stuff. But I also picked up Earthquake as well, which I do remember being pretty decent. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'm probably going to get myself like Towering Inferno and a few bits and pieces like that. For some reason, that seems to be my current jag, is 1970s American disaster movies. But I don't know if I showed this last time, but I did pick up Martin. I think somebody suggested it on the last one, if I remember right. But I did get that. So that's kind of cool. Though I've got to get myself a new player for it, basically the software for it. So either that, or I've got to break out the PS3 and hook all that up, which I might do. I don't know. It seems like it might be an idea. I really ought to do that at some point. Trying out a head shaved, Glenn, says Byron. I've had this since November. I got Movembered. Actually, not involuntarily. My mate was like, kind of, didn't think I would do it, and I kind of went and did it. And to be honest, it'd take me a few years to grow it back anything like it was, and it probably won't grow back like it was. It was getting thin on top anyway. So it is what it is. Blue Iris saw Towering Inferno a few weeks ago. Did you enjoy it though? Saw The Swarm years ago. Think I saw adverts for it in the cinema. Can't remember a thing about it. It's very bland. It really is. There's this love triangle thing that happens between these elderly characters. You got like Slim Pickens and these other two. And it's like, it's supposed to be sweet. It's supposed to be kind of like getting invested in the characters, and then they just run them off a cliff in a train. It seems to be a theme, doesn't it? Yes, I'm doing all right, Adam. Thank you for that. You did return to Facebook. Okay, good. Or bad. Depends on what you think of Facebook, I guess. My advice is don't take anything on Facebook too seriously, if you can help it. Otherwise, it's a bit awful. This is the first I've seen of shaved Glenn. It looks it's a bit different. I can't do that anymore. Well, I could do it with the beard, I guess, but yeah, just got to find a way of taming this beast, making it sort of behave. Okay, so I'm going to say what we're going to be watching tonight, and I apologise if we've done this before. I sort of half think we did, but I couldn't find it on the channel, so I thought it'd be kind of fun to do Trick or Treat. There was a couple of other choices. There was Nightmare on Elm Street 2, which would be a bring your own media or a rental to actually do. I also found, interestingly enough, a alternative fan cut version of Dune, which I thought was kind of potentially quite an interesting one. As it's 2.5 hours long, well, just over 2.5 hours long, I think it is. Yeah, it's closer to 3 hours long. So that's got a lot of kind of stuff going on. And the sick part of me was kind of thinking about trying to find Salo online and making you all watch that. But it's amazing how hard it is to actually find Salo. So, try finding Salo online. It's quite difficult. I think BFI Player possibly has it, but you can't find it on like Prime or anything like that. It's very, very weird that it is so unavailable. I think that kind of says something to the whole sort of streamer thing, isn't it? It's very difficult to kind of get hold of these things now. Yeah, I'm using a glass tonight because I've got cans of beer. It looks a lot less classy than even drinking straight out of a bottle to drink straight out of a can. Watched this about a year ago, 18 months ago. It's great, deserves a second watch. Okay, fair enough. Hello, John Smith. You have arrived. What about Twitter/X? Did I take that seriously? Probably not, because quite frankly, it's a bit of a fuck up, isn't it? This point. It's this sort of thing that should be burnt to the ground at the moment. If it went away, I don't think too many people would mind. You've still yet to see Salo. What sights we have to show you. Oh dear. Yeah, Salo's not a film that you kind of put on for fun. Because I was sort of contemplating doing like a Disturb, because I don't normally do these sort of things, like a 10 Disturb, not top 10, because I don't like to do. Oh god, I keep hitting my fucking mic. It's so close to me these days. Doing I don't do top 10 type videos, generally speaking, because I find them so arbitrary to my moment, the moment I'm in, that it's almost meaningless to me a week later. But doing something like that would be kind of interesting. I think I took relationships I made on X too seriously. It really messed with your mental health. I think any social media needs to be taken with a big pinch of salt. Where's your arcade carousel lit library gone? Well, I had to move house. So this is what I've got at the moment. It's a lot smaller. But yeah. So everything's kind of changed. I'm in a different place. I'm in a shared house. So if there's any kind of noise and stuff like that, then that's what that's about. It was just unfortunate. My landlord was basically, because he's getting on a bit, and his daughter's disabled, and there was going to be some big changes. So I had to do what I had to do. Collector Adam, I bought the BFI Blu-ray on Salo on eBay, a fiver. Right result. That's good actually. Yeah, the BFI Blu-ray is pretty good. It's pretty good. I mean, you don't need like a 4K restoration or something like that unless you've got like a 60-inch bloody screen you're going to be watching it on. Any more Franco reviews in the pipe? Reviews have just been on hold for, as you know, for probably the best part of a year. Just because of just head place and work commitments and all that kind of stuff. But I'm hoping to shift that around a bit this year and actually get some stuff done. I have no idea what I'm going to review next for the Franco stuff, to be honest with you, but make some suggestions on Facebook and stuff like that if you have any suggestions. But I will have a look through my collection, because half my collection is still in, well, I say half. 90% of my collection is still in boxes, because I've got nowhere to take them out to. So it's a little bit trickier, though I did go to some pains to make sure that all my Franco DVDs were in one box. And my Video Nasties is in 2 boxes. So hopefully I should be able to lay my hands on those kind of things. Maybe I need to catalogue them so I can deal with them a bit better. One of your favourites tonight? Yes. Yes, I do still have my collection. It's just kind of... I did do a bit of a purge, but it wasn't anything of interest. It's the sort of shit that's always going to be available no matter what, you know what I mean? Okay, wasn't the BFI Salo one of those DVDs that went for around £500 about 15 or so years ago? I don't know about that. I've got the one that's in the white box, and that seems to be quite expensive. It's like the DVD. But I've never remembered it being quite that much. It would be a little bit mental. So I meant the trailer for Trick or Treat on VHS, and it rocked. Surprised when I finally saw it and how well it was made. Expecting some straight to video crap. Yes. The soundtrack to this film is just outstanding. I do have it. It's by a band called Fastway, British band. It was one of the last things they did before they broke up. I think they've done a few reunions since, but that's about it. But everybody get yourselves sort of ready for Trick or Treat, and we will get going in just a few minutes. Yeah. It's a good job. There's no calamity of snakes. No, there is no calamity of snakes tonight. Although, didn't I get a Blu-ray? I seem to remember somebody saying it got a Blu-ray release. It's like, oh my god. They killed so many poor snakes for that. It really is kind of fucked up. But if it wasn't for the rampant animal cruelty that is just done with such relish, it would be actually quite a fun film. But the concert scene was pretty kick-ass. Yes, it is, and we're going to be watching that in just a couple of minutes. So I would say when everybody's kind of like, when you're ready, just give us a quick thumbs up, and we will get started on that in just a few minutes. I'm kind of interested in this Dune alternate fan cut Redux special edition thing that has been done. I'm wondering if it's any different to some of the other versions that I've seen. Dune has so many versions. It's just kind of, it's a bit nutty like that. It's like Dawn of the Dead. Oh, speaking of which, hopefully we will be joined. I'll be joined by Simon hopefully next week, and we will be doing the super duper extra long kind of nothing's cut out, everything's put back in edition of Dawn of the Dead. And what a better person to do that with than Simon, because he's the man on that stuff, so it should be quite good fun. I will put up a link for it at some point. I think I'm probably going to set it up. Yes, that is another repeat one, but after that I promise you I will find something that we haven't done. And I am thinking something like doing a double bill at some point of something like Nightmare on Elm Street 2, and I don't know, what do you reckon? Friday the 13th 2 or something like that. You know, films that I wouldn't normally kind of do on a watch along. But I want to find some deeply, deeply weird shit to be watching on this. Uh, I would suggest Tumbling Doll Flesh, but I don't think YouTube would actually even allow me to kind of put that in the title, let alone anything else. But also looking forward to that thing. Yeah, okay, we've got a couple of people that are ready. So I think Mad Fox is, find a copy. That's one of those films. It's just so incredibly hard to grab a copy of online. It's hard enough to find on bloody DVD and stuff, I think, these days, and Blu-ray. Righto, okay, stand by your beds, folks. We're going to get started in just a moment. So, I've actually seen Tumbling Doll Flesh. Isn't it basically just a porno? It's like, imagine it is hardcore porn plus the Devil's Experiment mixed up together. It's like, yeah. It's a little crazy. It gets very uninteresting very fast, and then you kind of get a little bit wondering what the hell's going on. Because one of the things was with that, because of the Japanese aversion to seeing the naughty bits, whatever. I think specifically it's supposed to be pubic hair or something like that. But yeah, because of that, everything's sort of blurred when you're doing the do. But you can't see that, but you can see entrails hanging out and stuff like that. It's like, that's fine, but the other stuff not so much. It's kind of weird. Yeah, GPH. Yeah, double the GPH. Yes. Yeah, I'd be happy to watch it again at some point, but let's see if, after next week, let's see if we can get a few that we haven't actually watched before. It's really hard to keep track sometimes. Okay, trick or treat, folks. Let's get started with that. So we will start the count of 5 and go on. Go. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Why would you want to stream it out of curiosity, not judging what you're into? It's not the kind of thing. And to be honest, I think the film like that, really, its fascination for me is not really in what's in it. It's more kind of like, what it says about that end of Japanese culture. That's quite nice. Special appearance by Ozzy Osbourne. What about Maximum Overdrive? Can't remember if we did that one before. But yeah. I mean, it's a bad movie, but it is kind of fun with it. Remember, the nipples were censored in Tumbling Doll Flesh, but not the violence. Yeah, absolutely it was. It's just kind of weird like that. The 80s, when heavy metal was still considered dangerous, yes. But no, I wouldn't stream that. But it'd be I think it'd be fun for people to see my reaction to it. I think, but Howling 2 for a laugh. Yeah, that's a suggestion. Maybe that's something that we ought to think about for the next Halloween, is doing like a double bill of werewolf films of one kind or another. That could be kind of fun. De Laurentiis, the mark of quality entertainment. It is kind of funny, isn't it, when you get the labels of the studios and they mean certain things to certain people. It's like canon, And somebody asked me, do I like canon films? And I would I don't really sort of follow it for the label. If it's kind of fun, it's fun. I mean, they did crank out some shit as well, didn't they? 80s hi-fi, love it. Yeah. I was just trying to see if there's a hint of that kind of like anti piracy thing going on. Jocks, 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 jocks. So you already know who the arseholes are in this film, don't you? Oh, that's all right, Kerry. Don't know if you can stay long, stay as long as you can. Yeah, you stop as long as it pleases you. If you go by the movies, then US high school must be an absolute hellscape. All the worst things happen around there. Pesky jocks, yes. You miss seeing the Label of Medusa video. I mean, the companies used to have a lot of identity, didn't they? And the only one I can think of with any kind of identity is Sony, and that's not a very good identity. Oh God, even the girls are jocks. I do love the setup to this character, really, because it's like it is a very cliche kind of build for a heavy metal kind of teen and all that sort of stuff, but I think it does it quite well. And very succinctly. I think it helps. It helps that it's got this great kind of soundtrack that is very him behind it as well. Brighter looking lamp there. It's as much because there's a wall right there. I can touch it there, and it's white. But what I'm hoping to do is get hold of my Exorcist poster at some point and put it there, and then maybe put my Natural Born Killers one over there. If we watch Tumbling Dollar Flesh, it would be what it says about 1980s Japanese culture. Yes. But all that stuff is actually kind of interesting. I think you find a lot more information about any kind of culture by the stuff that it's extreme um, media. He's hamming it up a bit there, isn't he, with the whole snake thing? Something weird I've noticed about fandoms is the more sexuality there is in the actual content, exploitation filter, for instance, the less fandom sexualizes the content. There's a lot of interesting things like that. Yeah, but I get where you're coming from on that one. Trying to think of sort of good examples. When it comes to like kind of violent movies and stuff like that, most people that really like the violent movies are a lot more passive and peaceful than an awful lot of other kind of like more mainstream sort of audiences. In my experience, anyway, with the heavy metal music and all that kind of stuff, it's not like the fans are generally any worse than anybody else. But they always try to find that in their loves, don't they? When something goes wrong. That's probably not his best photo, is it? Angst. No, not the poison poster. See, Hannibal fandom on Reddit is odd. You always wonder with some of those, don't you? Like kind of like the oddest ones of them, yeah, whether they're just LARPing or whatever. A lot of shipping in Hannibal. Oh my god. Dad's got that goddamned thing going on. It's a bit of a shimmer to the image, as they're basically avoiding the copyright thing. Whatever. It's not too bad on this one so far. In some ways, this whole kind of idea of like shipping and stuff like that, it's fans engaging with the material. The only time it gets really bothersome, for as far as I'm concerned, is when they start absolutely losing their shit over it. You know, if the official canon doesn't go their way and all that kind of stuff. Oh God, it's actually getting worse, isn't it? When I first heard the phrase shipping and stuff like that, I had no idea what the hell it was. It took a while for me to actually work out what it was all about. But yeah, some of those things can get really weird. There were some strange ones in like Voyager and stuff like that, weren't there? Disliked how Clarice ended up with Hannibal in the novel. Don't think it suited her character and read like fan fiction. I don't remember that in the novel, but it's been a long, 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 long time since I ever read that. Uh, in a minority that I preferred what the movie did, at least on the plot point. Yeah. See, I always felt that the whole kind of interaction between Clarice and Hannibal in Silence of the Lambs was less about any kind of attraction on Hannibal's side than it was that he kind of just was more fascinated by her than anything. But like I say, it's been a long time since I read any of the novels. A very long time. I'm going to have to watch Nightmare on Elm Street 2 again at some point, actually, having mentioned it earlier. I do have... is that down there? Oh yeah, I've got it handy. Before you ask, I'm not telling you where I've just pulled that from. Oh my god. I think Hannibal loved Clarice. Clarice was self-aware enough to realise he's a psychopath and belongs locked up, yes. I don't know. I always felt that Hannibal, if there was any love, it was just that he loved playing with her like a cat with a mouse. Title drop. Security in these places are terrible, isn't it? It's like... Oh, for the world's biggest toaster to drop into the pool. Oh, boobies. Yay. He's such an obnoxious piece of shit, isn't he? I get she's fascinated by him, but to love, yeah. Oh dear, oh dear. It's amazing that 80s girls would go anywhere near a pool with that hair, isn't it? It's like a little bit of moisture in the air. The 80s where jocks were murderous. Oh, those jocks are going to pay for that. Yes, they are. All that hair product, the pool water was congealed. Yes, just the humidity in a pool like that might have caused some sort of catastrophe. And another link to Ragman full movie, looks better quality. We'll add to. Um, okay, pause it at 18 minutes. Then I'll just quickly check in on that. If I can find the goddamn thing. Ramblaholics. God damn it. I hate that anti-piracy thing. It's just like, it just, yeah. Not seeing it. All right, tell you what, we're just going to continue. 3, 2, 1, go. I have to put up with it. It's fine. Kool-Aid and vodka, eh? Hello. I've always loved the soundtrack. If it's one thing that always stood out with this movie to me from memories of first watching it, it was the soundtrack. Backward masking. Not nearly as common as people thought until people started complaining about it. I figured it was your grub. Or is it just like, be a good boy, eat cornflakes? You're the bait. The bait is you. Gonna binge watch all 3 of Ian McCulloch's video nasties. Yeah, because I saw Tisa Farrow. She passed away just recently, didn't she? She's very sad. Seems to be a lot of people going at the moment. It's that time of year. Saw Bram Weetabix, man. Fair enough. You'll never make it in the Devil's Minions Brigade. Yes. Seemed to carry an awful lot of momentum with him there, didn't he? Time check is 21:48. Anybody else who wants to sort of switch over to that, just ask for a time check. Oh, you don't do that to the percussion section. Devil's Minion Brigade is the factory might decide for. Oh God. Oh, jocks, will you never learn? Right back. So, just found this in the superstore today, so that's what I'm on. Well, two of those tonight. I've got two something different, but different one from Brewdog that I've not tried before. It's rather good. Excuse me. Because 1980s metalheads never did therapy. Wasn't the done thing. There is a better link apparently on the... let me see if I can just haul that up for everybody in the chat, just in case that's more agreeable to you. I'm going to have to just do something a little bit different there, actually. Fuck Facebook links. Do we know the maintenance too? Right, try that one. The voice of the Misrons. My love of Metallica was dented after some kind of monster documentary. Yes. Don't get me wrong. I think for them personally, they it's kind of an interesting sort of thing to. Well, yeah, you would hope they would try to become better people. But from a fan's perspective, I don't know. Maybe it helped someone. Um, I think it's kind of with Metallica, things like that. They've changed so radically since back in the day, um, and it has left a lot of people behind, myself included to some extent. Not because I want them just to keep doing the old stuff, but the new stuff has um, gone kind of wayward. You lost them at Saint Anger. Yeah, that was not a good. No, I did like Todd in the Shadows Train Records episode on Saint Anger. That was funny as fuck. Sense of watching it through a twisting antique board. Yeah, it's annoying. I can understand why they do it though, but yeah, the other link is just up there. So if anybody needs it again, then just let us know and I'll put it back in again. But if you do go over to that, just ask for a time code and we'll get you up to speed. Could be worse. It could be watching Salo and have it do this. Wavewood, that's very kind of you. I mean, for my money, when it comes to Metallica, a big part of the problem is Lars. Um, when even back from the days when it was all about the copyright and Napster and all that kind of stuff, and he was just acting like a tit since then. Remember Walkmans, kids? You know what? Funny enough, my brother had one. Was the first of us to have a Walkman, and he had this one of the blue Sony Walkmans, and I always thought it was probably likely one of the cheaper end of the series, but it turns out it was like one of the better ones. Oh, don't worry about it, Adam. No, seriously, I mean, I had a quick look through and I didn't notice it. It happens. It's fine. There's no need to apologise whatsoever. But their last great album was Justice for All. Didn't get bad till Saint Anger. I'd say Garage Inc. was somewhat listenable. They've always had weird production issues, apart from anything else. But uh, and Justice for All was great, except for the mixing out the bass. you don't you don't take a beautiful instrument like that and mix it out. Jason Newsted, I think it was done nasty. I bought a new bass recently as well. Actually, I've got my other one's at work. It's going to faulty. Workshop, 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 workshop. Oh, it just saves your life, you miserable sod. Next time it's the pillar drill. I think his tape player's busted. I could go for a room like that. So that's a bit of a Metallica geek. That's alright. I've seen them once live. My brother's seen them once live as well. He watched them at the Monsters of Rock, and I saw him at the Freddie Mercury tribute concert because they opened. Then they did a few extra bits. James Hetfield came on later and did Stone Cold Crazy, which was kind of fun. A lot of people sort of go, "Oh, you know, the Black Album was the turning point." Now, I guess it was to some extent, but it wasn't for a bad thing. I think the Black Album's a bloody good album. But it was kind of like a departure from the thrash for a large part. Oh, music! Music! I miss metal stars being thought of as dangerous. Isn't it funny? It's like now they've gone on to like kind of like pop stars and stuff like that being dangerous because they espouse political views. So back in the day, it was like biting the heads off of bats and corrupting your children and turning them into devil worshippers, and now it's because Taylor Swift says somebody's a bad person. You like the Load album? I've only heard a bit of it. It never really grabbed me, but you know, if you like it, that's fine. You should see some of the shit that's in my music collection. Oh, the days before CDs. You had to do it all linear, didn't you? You had to go through the entire album. ABBA greatest hits tape there. Don't be dissing ABBA. They're very good at what they did. God, this camera angle's getting a bit racy, isn't it? Taylor Swift tells people to register to vote and people lose their minds. Yeah, there are certain political elements that really don't want you to vote, but we shan't go too into that. We're here for the rock and roll, man. I've got to sit around and look hardcore rock and roll, haven't I? I mean, I am. I don't know if it's just me getting old. Sometimes it's just like I'm kind of like, well, certainly when it comes to music and movies and things like that. I go, just because I don't like it necessarily or I'm not into it doesn't mean it's immediately shit. I find it a much more happy approach to life. You're going to approach for Primus, Glenn. Oh God, I tell you what, I wish I could play the bass even 1/10 as good as Les Claypool. That guy is an absolute monster on the bass. Death by stereo. You know what? I kind of miss. It's a weird sort of thing to be nostalgic about, I guess. But I kind of miss tape based music, just because of the way it worked. Everything from kind of like doing stuff like mixes and things like that. You did your own mixtapes and that kind of thing, and they were very personal. And if you were good at it, you'd know which songs work well with each other's and have that journey from the beginning to the end. Leave it on a high at the end of each tape, each side of the tape. Oh, she likes Walkmans, clearly. She's having a damn fine time. Just aside that, actually kind of interesting special effects going on. I know it's kind of like, what it's doing is a little bit seedy, but it is a surprisingly good, well-made film in many respects. But my God, I wish there was an album that made me feel quite like that. Though it doesn't turn out too well for her. The Ghost of Bill Cosby. And yes, turns out she's listening to Crazy Frog. Way. Hey. When this fans are rocking, you do not come a knocking. It says cheap Japanese electronics. It's a nasty Chinese knockoff, isn't it? It's what's done it. That's what you get when you get your headphones from the Shenzhen market. There's a name you don't hear around too often these days, is Muffy. Ooh, rock pornography. You're very welcome, Kerry. And hello, Lexi. See, the thing is, Ozzy's actually making notes at this point. He's going, oh, yeah. I wonder if Ozzy actually remembers any, like, 1 second of what we've just seen on there. Why didn't they do Muppets do a character called Fuzzy Osmond? I I think that would have been pretty awesome. Is he using a horse? That's what you get when you record metal on a metal tape. Another guilty pleasure. Well, that's the Muppets is not a guilty pleasure. Should not be a guilty pleasure. Muppets all-time classic. I always feel like whenever I do anything with Josh Hadley, it's like with Statler and Waldorf. So much of a fan of the Muppets I am. Him definitely. She listened to the latest number one. Gonzo was the greatest. The episode of Muppets where they announce the death of Jim Henson will break your heart. Yeah, yeah. But he's had his hand up my butt for the last 20 years. You know how hard that is to get over? I need to have a sound effects button where I can kind of like push it if I touch my head and it goes. He's a bit partial to Animal, Beaker, and Dr. T. I loved Beaker. And the Swedish Chef. My mum was a big fan of it, so we all kind of like sat down and watched it together. It's one of those rare examples of children's TV that you could actually, the whole family could sit down and have a good time with it. I like that his room is the unfinished part of the house. So they haven't got round to installing the proper walls. Those damned 1980s stereos and their really, really poor earthing. On a related note, the Fraggles were cool too. I didn't watch the Fraggles very much, but I think at that point I'd kind of like, I was a bit older by that point, so it didn't quite appeal to me. But, I understand it's very good. Oh no. Oh no, this is what happens when you get the Pepsi generation mixed with heavy metal. Yikes. Pounding the chicken. Today we got the chicken in the basket. First you take the chicken and you put it in the basket. Fun fact, Sweden, the Swedish chef is Danish. It kind of makes sense, but it's also funny. That is very agreeable beer. Very light. That would be a lovely one for the summer, that will. I know, it's uncanny, isn't it, Adam? Absolutely uncanny. But do you remember the song? Bird, the big the bird, the big the bird, the big the bird, bird, the big the bird, the bird, bark, bark, bark. Oh, my childhood. This is what happens when your active pickup's battery is short-circuiting. I love the lighting in this scene. It's just kind of crazy. You do wonder why Ozzy Osbourne did get an awful lot more roles, don't you? Great at what he does, but yeah, it's a little bit. But it's cool to have him in the film. It's always cool to have Ozzy Osbourne around. It's like, no, in 30 years' time, that'll be worth a fortune. At least wait around a few more years and let like kind of beat up some Amstrad equipment. The Lost Boys taught us that stereos in the 80s were highly explosive. Yeah, they did seem to have, like, you know, kind of, shall we say, modest amounts of black powder in them at the very least. The kitchen needs more wooden cabinets. I have to say, for an 80s film, because we're kind of like talking about all the sort of 80s aspects of this film and stuff like that. For all of the kind of the aesthetic, the 80ness of it, it's not overdone, if you know what I mean. Because obviously it was of the time, but it looking back at it, you don't go, "Oh my god, that is so 80s" necessarily. It doesn't lay it on as thick as something that's trying to be kind of sentimental about those times or taking the piss about those kind of times. Lost Boys would be kind of a fun one to do sometime, wouldn't it, as a watch along? Did quite like that film. There's nothing quite like the feel of a really kind of posh, expensive cassette. Those things looked absolutely boss, and you're never quite sure at the time, why was he spending so much money on these very expensive cassettes at the time? At least I wasn't. You go, oh, it's metal. Does that mean it's great? It sounds great. So, Buxton Brewery, Citra IPA. Cool can. Cool can. This in the gate taught us that playing records backwards is a portal to damnation. Yes. People were so disturbed about it, weren't they? The whole kind of like reverse masking sort of stuff. That they went to the extreme of just imagining that certain songs had that stuff in. I don't know, like the Beatles got accused of it so many times they actually did it after a while, didn't they? It's an offer you can't refuse. And do not talk over the beginning and ending of the track, otherwise I will come and damn your soul. It's very convenient that you can actually hoover up a dead body. Of course, if we're in out that outfit these days, they'd probably be shot by the police in about 5 minutes. No, Dyson. Oh, God. Blue iris. Ouch. Somebody went as a box of cereal? Okay. Oh, nice one, Adam. Oh. So, rap or certain death? Time for the Carrie ending, yes. If you believe the movies, it's amazing anybody kind of made it through high school, isn't it? Go on, do it. Do it. Put it on. I mean, it could be worse. He could put on Sammy Kerr or he could put on Judas Priest. One of the two is going to end the world. Yeah, definitely going to have to get my PS3 kind of up and running, so I've got a Blu-ray player. I want to get this piece of software that does kind of region-free playback on the computer, but it's about 130 quid. So have all the candy kit. Well done. This must be a horror movie, and you must be in a rush. I've got all the candy. Looks like a refreshing brewery, Glenn. It's really on the edge of how strong I like a beer, because I don't think there's a beer I've enjoyed that is over 6%. Usually prefer them a little bit below 5. Not because I'm worried about getting, rat-assed or anything, but the taste profile changes quite radically after about 5. Yeah, yeah, I'm looking forward to watching it. Like I say, got to dig the PS3 out and hook it up. That way I can play all my Blu-rays, which would be lovely. Excuse me. It's been a very long week. I tell you what, every day of this goddamn week has felt like Wednesday. It's more to do with having access through my computer and various pieces of software when it comes to playing on the PC. But it's entirely kind of Blu-ray, region free and all that kind of stuff. And I don't really have room for another thing. So I watch all my Blu-rays on my computer, so part of the reason I've got a 27-inch curved monitor. And boy, do I look good on it, because that's my control monitor. Excuse me, a bit sniffly today. Did go into Carrie territory there, didn't we? So there's more than a little bit of Stephen King influence in this movie, isn't there? We've got Carrie and we've got Christine. Oh, those pyrotechnics are amazing, aren't they? I think my brother's playing the Evil 4 remake at the moment. I did start playing Resident Evil 2 again, the original Resident Evil 2. The band's very accepting of this. I have to say the lighting guy is also on the ball. When you book piss. When you book piss, apparently that's the way my head is working tonight. When you book Kiss to play on Amazon, this is what turns up. Favourite song of the entire album, obviously. But it doesn't look like he's singing it, does it? It does suffer quite badly from the lip sync. Isn't it funny sometimes how certain people and voices, you see, you can mix them up. You can get perfect lip syncing, and it doesn't quite match for whatever reason. See, the band's like kind of like we've gone from doing prissy rock and roll tonight to kind of like hardcore kick your ass kind of rock and roll. I would imagine it was probably a bit more of an adjustment than the band in Back to the Future. There is a certain amount when they do these kind of things. Somebody's playing guitar on the screen that they just hope that people can't kind of notice that it isn't necessarily that person. So, this is what you get for throwing piss at the stage. You can't play Resident Evil 5 anymore. Typical lead guitarists take the fucking drummer out first. Although if you've ever done any kind of band work, it's always the drummer that is the first one you want to take out. It's a hell of a Halloween, isn't it? Yeah, I need a Microsoft Games account or something, but Microsoft have taken it off the market, so to speak. Oh, God. Right, okay. It's the wonders of having digital delivery, isn't it? You've got to go in there and you've got to play some Burt Bacharach. Well, we all know what's going to happen to him now, don't we? Oh boy. Jock's gonna get it. The jock is gonna get it. If they'd have preferred a man for that prom night, they wouldn't have had these sorts of problems. Or black lace, yeah. Oh my god. I'm not sure what's more terrifying, evisceration or agadoo. Agadoo can do some serious damage, and Superman, yes. You know what? I don't care how lo-fi they may be compared to shit like their super duper CG and all that kind of stuff. That's some fucking cool effects. Looks like it needs some high voltage of rock and roll. Wholesome horror, friends. That's what I'm going to discuss. Oh, that wouldn't get too much attention, would it? I'm just wheeling a Billy Bear out on a stretcher. Or did he? Ba ba ba. Come on, man. Nerd down. Nerd down. You've got long hair. You're under arrest. You know, it's funny. Since I've had my since I've been shaving my head and that kind of stuff, I get followed around supermarkets a lot more these days. Oh, Wikipedia can be an absolute shit show sometimes. It's like a pull me push you kind of thing. Wikipedia doesn't matter how much evidence you give. Sometimes when you put a correction in, Some people have a bit more welly than others, or are absolutely adamant that they will be the ones to kind of set the record. Not so sure about that, Richard. Not so sure about that. I mean, unless we're all going to be prepared with kind of um, um, baseball bats with nails through them and all this kind of stuff, and we can have a bit of fun that way. Red Letter Media's favourite bit, the showbiz pizza bear being brought out on a stretcher and they finally watched it at the same time. Rich Evans thought it was a childhood photo of himself with the bear. Yeah. Alright, Kerry, good night. Is there a gradient of how much you are followed whilst shopping? I don't know if it's a gradient, but Lunch of the Dead, ooh, fierce movie. Is there a gradient of it? No, I don't know, but it feels like security, and certainly in the smaller, kind of like the co-op across the way. It's like, feels like the security guards are always looking at me. It's okay. I ain't tried to nick anything, lads. It's fine. And that's the thing, because when I had the long hair, you could sort of go, "Oh, he looks a little bit more like a homeless guy." It's like now it's like, what the fuck? Oh, there's a door right there, dude. Sir, those leather pants are illegally tight. Oh, loving it. Yeah, that is one of my favourite bits of the movie. That was a rare person to have two separate knighthoods, one from the Queen and one from the Vatican. And I bet both of them were very pleased they did that. Hey, Simon. Nice of you to pop in. Hope the band's good. Let us know if Sammy Kerr turns up. And for the love of God, if he does, make sure that you actually get your camera out and film it. Some proper Reddit material right there. Yep. What it be hot? Sorry, been watching too many Bruce Lee movies. Well, you look more of more hip and kind of like a former hippie intellectual liberal type with long hair. Don't get me wrong, I will miss the long hair, but I think those days are just really kind of past. I would love to have the long hair. I'd love to have my hair down to my arse, but it's just not going to happen these days. Getting too old and a little bit bald. It's funny actually, because most of the lecturers that have seen me, like, I go, wow, whoa, I like it. And some of the students are going, whoa, wow, you look like a maths teacher. Heavy metal maths teacher, I would hope. God, I hope he doesn't touch himself with those hands. There'd been a kind of like, warm up. Oh, his one weakness, the toilet bowl. Quick, flush, full flush. My sarcastic advice worked. He's going to spend the next 20 minutes having to wash his hands and with plenty of soap. He's just going to be going like, oh my God, they didn't flush before this happened. Now we go, I can still smell shit under my fingernails. Oh no. Toilets defeating heavy metal stars. That's blessed from Dreamcatcher. Just because the music's going backwards doesn't mean the vehicle has to, surely. What's better, ska or metal? I prefer metal, but I have a very soft spot for ska as well. Ska's great. I did get to see Madness live one time, and that was a lot of fun. They did about 50 encores, but it's Madness. Don't go in there, Roxanne's in there. People tell me I sound like Elvis, not due to my singing. It's every time I go for a shot, it sounds like I'm having a heart attack. Yes, it is, young man. It is all your fault. Congratulations on the self-awareness. Madness are a great live band. They're fucking amazing. Bear in mind, I had my hair down to my bloody waist, more or less, at that point. And my mate, it was like kind of like, oh God, is this going to be all right? He goes, actually, the drummer's got long hair at this point. He should be fine. There's me and a bunch of skinheads, like kind of like just having a right old party up there. It was fun. It's the Poltergeist. Yes, it is. Caroline, you don't have to put on a death metal. Yes, you did, young man. Congratulations on the self-awareness. It's like, oh, if we get out of here, I'm turning into a God-fearing, Bible-bashing Christian. I'm going to be on the TV extolling the nastiness of heavy metal. We will listen to nothing more racy than the Carpenters. Imagine if Metallica toured with Madness. Funny enough, I think the only one of the band that might have a problem with that would be Lars. Oh, he looked a little flushed. I applaud you, sir. I applaud you. Did I get my nutty on? Yeah. I've long enjoyed Madness. Great band. And yes, I did get my nutty on. I mean, lucky I haven't gone to an awful lot of concerts, but the ones I've gone to have been very cool. Always thought Lars was a bit uppity for a drummer. Well, I mean, it's his band, but yeah, he's a bit of a prick from what I can tell. I mean, you know, if you ever met him, he might be the nicest person in the world, but this man will do anything for his brown M&Ms. Or says he got a little too religious for a while, got scared and started quoting the Bible too much. It can happen. Probably not so much with me, but what can I say? I'm a die-hard heathen, I guess. Oh no. Don't do that to them. No! Not the tapes, the reel-to-reel. Oh my god. There's definite lack of respect for equipment here, isn't there? You can just imagine how little at the time that they filmed this that they could that there'd be people sort of like looking at this and going, "Don't do that to that. That's a really cool piece of kit." Drove to 88 or it won't work. Yeah. See, what they didn't realise about that in Back to the Future was when it went to 88, it's just because there was enough of the LED elements that were lit that it drew enough power and kind of caused a short circuit somewhere down the line. And that's the only reason they travel through time. LEDs quite a bit of juice back in the day. dear. You know what? I'm glad we watched that again because that's a good film. Even if we did have to deal with wobbly vision a little bit, this is a real to real horror. Yes, it is. It's a little bit of a horror show, isn't it? You see all this kind of like really cool kit just being destroyed. I mean, it was kind of like, you know, just the stuff that was used at the time. But yeah, oh dear. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. Like I say, I think next week because I think Simon's available next week, but I will double check with him. We'll do Dawn of the Dead, and then after that we're going to try and find something a little bit kind of I'm going to try and find something a little bit out there, a little bit unusual, try to get back to that whole kind of exposing people to stuff that they haven't seen before. Of course, I love to revisit that stuff, and it's partly what we're all about, isn't it, as a community, is why so many of us love physical media, is because we can just grab it off the shelf and watch it again and again and again. But particularly because David Emge's passing, it would be lovely to do Dawn of the Dead next week. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. Well worth a second stream, yes it was. Probably should have left it to Halloween, but there you go. But if we can find a copy of Mad Fox's, then we'll watch it on Halloween instead. We've got to do another viewing of that crazy terrible movie. Your next time with Simon will be epic. Looking forward to it. I think it'll be fun. It's always fun to kind of hang out with Simon in those things. Done it a few occasions, so yeah, it should be good. I should have some new headphones as well. I've just spent way too much because I needed some headphones that were like wireless, but as close to zero latency as possible. So I've just picked up 170 quid. They normally retail for about 270 quid. So second hand should be good. But yeah, because biggest problem I got at the moment, I have to watch the film on a separate device. But now I've got a Microsoft Surface over there, so I should be able to kind of like hook something up and make it kind of work for me a little bit better, so I don't have to have 15 pairs of headphones on. But yeah, Mad Foxes is the most restreamed film on this. I don't think it is. We've only done it about twice, I think. I think it's about twice on here we've done it. The most restreams probably Dawn, to be honest with you. But it's so good. Still looking for a copy of the this Brillantina Rock with Oretta Gay from Zombie Flesh Eaters. Oh, okay. That should be fun. But anyway, I think we'll call it an evening there. I will wish you a wonderful weekend. Enjoy yourselves. It's been lovely, actually, because these things have gotten a little bit infrequent over the Christmas period, but we should be back next week doing another one. Ooh, one thing. I think it's Tuesday night. I've been invited to by Straw Wiseman, the writer of Fight for Your Life, to have a viewing of an old movie that was never completed, but they've just finished it. So somehow I've got to manage to stay up, or at least kind of like get up at about 2 a.m, watch this film, and then go to work. But hopefully I'll be able to do that. But I've been invited along to this thing, which is really lovely, because to be honest, I didn't know if Straw would. It's amazing that he's even kind of considered having me along for the journey. So I'm kind of looking forward to that, and I will let you know what I think of it when I see it. Hopefully, I don't know if it'll ever get a release, whatever this, what the film is, but hopefully, I might end up with a copy of that at some point if I can persuade the right people. But until next week, I will see you. Have a lovely, lovely weekend. Try not to get too drunk, or try to get very drunk but not get hurt. Look after yourselves and have a lovely time. You take care, folks.